Welcome, football extremers. The extreme team is on your screens. Kwabs here, Nene here. It is the Football Extreme podcast. We're together live in living color, Nene.
Yes. It's our very first podcast where we are side by side, man.
Yes, man, I'm enjoying this. We're in our studio, ladies and gentlemen. So don't touch me in my studio, man. I like the sound of that. Yo. So we've shaken things up yet again. The Extreme team has brought together podcast vibes on the show, man. We're missing our third host, Manu DJ.
Yeah, we are missing with DJ, but soon enough he will be sitting right next to us.
Yep. And since our last show, ladies and gentlemen, when I last did an Arsenal video, our man over here was not yet a married man. Now he is. So congratulations, Mr. Nene. You bagged Mrs. Nene. And yeah, man, what is it now? Almost 3 months married. How's life there as a married man?
3 months, so far so good. No complaints.
Oh, man, that's good, man.
Yeah.
Welcome to the chain gang, man. DJ, you're next, bruh. Time to sort your life, man. Sort yourself out. Shout out to Bongs, the man on Bongs Football Podcast, part of Team Extreme. He's going to be joining us sooner or later in coming episodes. So, Nene, we're here together. You know what we do. We're good at talking football.
Yeah.
And let's start off with the hottest league in world football right now, the English Premier League, where your boys, Arsenal, first of all, last time I did a show here, I did a video on Arsenal, and we spoke about how Arsenal is top of the log, and I was hoping that when they come back after the World Cup, those first couple games would be as important as anything. And they've done the business, and they're still on top. So you tell us, what's your feeling, what's your thoughts about how Arsenal is playing?
Yeah, no. We initially thought that the World Cup break was coming at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And it was going to mess up our momentum. But it actually turns out that it was good for us. You know, it was a break. We had a couple of plays in the World Cup, but not a lot. The team was on holiday in Dubai in a training camp.
Yeah.
So I think it was good for them. And when they came back Boxing Day, they just hit the ground running. Apart from a couple of defeats, which we knew we were going to get at some point, overall it's been a welcome back return from the break, and
Yes.
so far so good.
So far, so good indeed. I mean,
Yeah.
Arsenal now, I watched a couple Arsenal games. I mean, I remember watching Arsenal and Aston Villa in this very studio, which is my lounge. And I mean, Arsenal was behind. I think it was 2-1 at the time, or maybe the score was 2-2 when I started watching it. And all of a sudden, it was that awesome goal from Jorginho. But why does Arsenal keep buying Chelsea players? That's another thing we need to understand. But this former Chelsea player did the job. Jorginho scored that fantastic, crazy goal. And then Martinelli came back with that final nail in the coffin that killed Aston Villa. So the comebacks of league-winning potential. And then last week, they did the same thing again against Bournemouth.
Yeah.
So you think you guys have what it takes this season to seal the deal and close it for the Premier League?
Definitely.
Okay.
Those were turning points in the season. As you said, Jorginho was an underwhelming signing.
I don't understand.
You know what? He came in and is doing the job.
Yeah.
And it's given us hope.
Okay.
Because if a player that we did not expect, to come to the party,
Yeah.
and he's been coming to the party, it's like a sign,
Yeah.
that says that, look, we're on the right track, and we're going to win this.
Yeah.
We just have some tough games, especially Anfield,
Yeah.
Liverpool away, Man City away, Chelsea away. So I think, Chelsea at home. Yeah, Chelsea at home. I think those 3 games are the toughest.
Yeah.
And you know what? Those teams might just put on a show just so that we don't win the league. So anything can happen.
Hey, anything can happen. And the way Liverpool's playing now, I mean, they can host Real Madrid in the Champions League, score 2 goals right off the bat, and then still concede 5 straight unanswered goals at home in the Champions League. and then come back, bounce back, and score 7 against your biggest rival on the earth. And then today, just before we start recording, we're watching Liverpool just wet the bed against Bournemouth, who Arsenal looked like they were going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So I don't think Liverpool's much of a tough game because we don't even know what's going to happen with that team. But yeah, Arsenal looking good. Let's see. Chelsea again as well, not looking so strong, which is going to take us to that next topic is the form of Liverpool and Chelsea. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't understand. Liverpool was at the or just after the World Cup break was sitting in 9th spot probably about 4 games ago. They won 3 games in a row, I think. And then after winning against Man United 7-0, you think, okay, they've turned the corner. I
Yeah.
thought they turned the corner. And then they've just been wiped out by Bournemouth 1-0.
Yeah.
And they were knocking on the top 4. They could have been 4th at the end of today, but no.
Yeah, I think the Bournemouth was not an easy game.
Yeah.
They're sitting rock bottom.
Mm.
And apparently it was the first time that they went into a Premier League weekend sitting last.
Yeah.
So they had to win the game at all cost.
Yeah.
The Arsenal game, I mean, that was like a miracle. You know, they could have won that game. They were 2-0 up in the second half. So maybe they learned their lesson from last week to say that when we get the lead, you know, we must try and hold on to it.
Yeah.
And this time they were playing at home. Last week they were playing it away.
Yeah.
So maybe if they were playing at home against Arsenal, they could have gotten all 3 points. So, yeah, I just think they learned from their mistake from last week.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
Liverpool, maybe they went in, you know, after 7-0, confidence is high, going to a team, low on confidence, sitting
Yeah.
rock bottom after they were heartbroken last week and thought that, you know what, they could just inflict more damage. And, yeah, it just didn't happen.
I just don't understand. They've beaten Everton. They've beaten Man United. I think it was like something like 5 clean sheets in a row. You are now 3 points behind 4th spot Spurs, who's currently playing now while we're talking, and Spurs are now winning 3-0 against Nottingham Forest. You might have missed the goal, Nene, while we were at the top of our introduction. Son scored the 3rd goal while we were getting this video started. But I mean, Liverpool now brought themselves back into the fight for Champions League spots, and they just lose like that. So now anything can happen, and it's the usual thing for the teams in the fight for the top 4, in my opinion, in the Premier League. Anywhere from 4th to about 7th, the guys will just win 2, lose 2, win, and they'll always seem to be alternating losses and wins.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's Liverpool in there, it's Spurs in there, it's Newcastle who are playing well, but now
Yeah.
Newcastle have now slipped down to 6th.
Yeah. But I think Liverpool can still get top 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you guys can still get top 4.
Yeah.
Bournemouth, I mean, as I said, they're sitting rock bottom. They've got nothing to lose. They're probably going to get relegated.
Yeah.
So they're probably going to cause a lot of upsets anyway.
Yeah.
So if you support a team that's going to play Bournemouth in the next couple of weeks, you must just watch out.
And what about Chelsea then? Do they need a new manager bounce? Do they need to make a change somewhere in that team? Because, wow, what's going on there?
You know, Chelsea, it's funny.
Yeah.
It was as they were assembling the dream team.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, if they knew they were going to be assembling a dream team, then they shouldn't have sacked Tuchel.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it didn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So now this guy is coming in. The team is like totally different. Because they added some players in January.
Yeah.
So, and also some players when he joined that were injured have come back.
Yeah.
So the squad is massive, and they shouldn't be in the position that they're in. But I think it's only a matter of time before they click on.
All that money spent in the last, 8 months. This team has spent so much money bringing in so many players. And there's all those memes coming in about they've brought in more players and they've got points and whatever it is. It is crazy. And to think that Chelsea's sitting in 8th, 7th right now?
Yeah.
It is crazy. It is crazy. I don't understand it.
They're 10th.
They're 10th right now. Look at that. They're 10th. And last I checked, they were winning 2-1 against Leicester City. So let's hope they can hold that lead. Because wow, Chelsea. I mean, where do you think they can do? Can they bring themselves into the top 4 fight?
I top four is going to be a bit of a tall ask. Um, I think maybe they could get top six, but I don't think that they're going to get top four because
Yeah.
it means that Liverpool, Spurs,
Spurs.
Newcastle,
Yeah.
would have to drop
Yeah.
out, and then that means they would have to go on a 13 game
Yeah.
winning
Winning
streak.
streak.
It's highly unlikely.
They still need to get past Brighton,
Yeah,
and who else is there in that mix?
I mean,
So yeah,
There's
Fulham
Fulham
and
that's sitting
Brighton.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Fulham will drop out. Hence why I say they could possibly get top six. But even then, top six means either Newcastle or Liverpool falls away.
Yeah.
And maybe Newcastle will fall away, but I don't know. I think
Yeah.
Newcastle would get at least top five.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Chelsea again, maybe seventh is as high as they can go if the
Yeah.
other teams start picking up points.
Yeah.
And then next season they can try and
Yeah.
yeah. But I think with they might get Europa League with seventh spot.
Seventh,
Yeah.
and maybe if they secure an FA Cup win, are they still in the FA Cup? I still can't even remember.
No.
Oh, they're out. So okay, so that door's out in Europa. So
Yeah.
yeah, then they just gotta make the top 7. Oh, but seventh also I don't think gets an automatic spot. I think it's sixth.
I think
In the
it's
Premier
sixth.
League.
Yeah, in the Premier League.
Yeah, so
yeah.
probably Chelsea could be with. Oh, they're gonna play Conference League. So either way, the top Premier League clubs probably all the way down to 8th will get European football somehow.
Yeah.
Just because they're from England and just because they want to make more money, so they create another tournament for the weaker teams in the Premier League, and somehow Chelsea will still be in European football next season. So let's see.
But do you think they need a new manager?
No, let's. I think.
Give him a chance.
I say Liverpool and Chelsea both have the same issue. Problems caused by players and not by coach, which I think coach cannot avoid. So Graham Potter is a part of the problem in that he was just thrown in there when they didn't know what they were doing. So Chelsea's ownership changes. At the time, Thomas Tuchel is the one making all the decisions. Transfer decisions, management decisions about running the whole team in general. I think Thomas Tuchel was the most senior person after the whole Abramovich Russian saga was happening and all the change in ownership. Thomas Tuchel was the one steering the ship at Chelsea. He's making the decisions on who to buy. And then as the season starts, all the players he's put in, and what was it, 3 weeks, 4 weeks in? And then you fire the guy who was making the decisions in a time of instability. And then you put in a guy who's done well at a smaller team, no offense to Brighton. He's done well at a smaller team, but what has he won?
Yeah.
Chelsea is a team for aspirations of winning Champions League and Premier League, and you bring in a coach who hasn't done anything in the big scheme of things. And then you are surprised that the team is performing where he would be performing if he was still at his middle of the table team. So I don't think Potter should be fired. I think Chelsea just need to figure out their identity first and figure out who their players are, first of all.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So we'll give them until the end of the season
Yeah.
and then see how they do in the transfer window if they are going to get more players.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more players they can
Oh,
get.
my word. I think there should be a cap on the number of players you should have.
Yeah.
I mean, geez.
But I still think defensively they need to get a couple more players in.
Yeah.
I don't see Thiago Silva staying on. Koulibaly is like 32, 33. I don't see him playing week in, week out next season. And then Fofana is like 21, 22. He was just signed from Leicester.
Yeah.
So I still think that they need to maybe get a couple of defenders in, and then I think they should be fine.
But they should have at least be able to know who they're targeting. It just feels like they're just putting their hand in a bucket or in a box, just doing this in the lottery ball, and then just throwing names at the wall and deciding that's going to stick. Let's see. Let's throw money at the problem.
They
and
bought
it's just not happening.
they bought attacking players because they only had I think it was this guy um, this guy that went to Inter.
His name is
He
gone.
went to
His name
Inter.
is gone.
His name Lukaku.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, 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 yes.
So
Yeah.
Lukaku was gone. There was a gap.
Yeah.
They got Sterling in,
Yes.
and they got Aubameyang in,
Yeah.
and it didn't work.
Yeah. That did.
So they
Yeah.
needed firepower. So they just went all in with attackers.
Yeah.
But as I said, the issue is at the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to address that, and I think they've got enough players that will click next season, and they can push on.
I know. Let's see. It'll be interesting. It
Yeah.
certainly is hit tight at the top. I mean, Arsenal seems to have found a way to put some distance between themselves and Man City. Man City not looking as invincible as they have been over the last couple seasons. Maybe this is the Gunners' chance to reclaim some glory. And the top four fight is interesting as always. Let's see if Liverpool, Spurs, Newcastle can mix it up with Man United there, who's sitting in third at the moment. And then let's see what Chelsea can do, whether they can find some identity and revive some glory, or they're just going to be languishing down there in 8th and 9th and probably not playing any European football at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then we're talking about moving on to European football. I mean, we're talking about how Chelsea don't know how to do it in the Premier League, but somehow they managed to go through this time in the Champions League. I mean, what happened there?
I remember when Graham Potter took over from
Tuchel.
Tuchel.
Yeah.
The first game he won was a
Champions
was
League.
a Champions
Yeah?
League game.
Yeah.
So, and that bought him some time. And prior to the Dortmund game,
Yes.
he was under pressure.
Yeah.
He needed a win, and he won.
Yeah.
Champions League is the biggest tournament.
Yeah.
They won it under Tuchel a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They were experienced in the competition, and depending on how far he goes in the Champions League, will depend on how much time he gets
Yeah.
next season,
Okay.
or even now. Going in. If he gets knocked out, and the league form is still bad, probably they'll sack him.
Yeah.
So the Champions League is like his lifeline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It certainly is looking that, because they look like a different team in the Champions League. So they've gone through to the quarterfinals, and I mean, they've done something that PSG couldn't do with all their galaxy of stars. Neymar, Messi, Mbappe. Neymar injured, and PSG had to go play against Bayern Munich, a goal down, I think, from the first leg, and
Yeah.
Bayern Munich just showed a whole lot of class and showing that they're a team not to be trifled with. Going through, was it 2-0?
Yeah. So now this game is was strange.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the first leg, Bayern Munich won 1-0.
Yeah.
And then in the second leg, they won 2-0. So basically, PSG, as you said, with all the stars
Yeah.
in the galaxy,
Yeah.
they couldn't score over 2 legs against Bayern Munich.
Mm.
Never mind that they conceded 3 goals.
Yeah.
I mean, we know PSG can score way more goals over 2 legs. So I don't know what happened. The goals just dried up.
Yeah.
Over both legs. I didn't see it coming. I thought this was it. PSG always say, this is the season. This is the
Yes,
season. This
yes,
is the
yes.
season. The guys are getting older. So we're not sure if they're going to be able to do it again next season.
Yeah. So I'm going to be one of those, what's the word? Probably pessimists out there. Champions League, historically, over the years, has shown that it's the trophy for the seasoned teams. And every once in a while, one team breaks through. And when they break through that once, they do it again and so forth, like Chelsea. They were knocking on the door. They had the pedigree, always making quarterfinals, semifinals. And then they made the final. John Terry slips. Then they find another final, probably, 2 years later.
Yeah,
Then they,
Bayern Munich.
and then against
2012.
Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they come back and win it again in 2021.
Yeah.
2021 when they won, or was
Yeah,
that
when
Liverpool?
Tuchel.
Yeah, Tuchel, yeah. Then they won again. So now they're two-time Champions League winners, and now they've just gone through. Man City, the likes of Man City who need to play this week, the likes of PSG, as you're talking, those are the teams that are still looking for their fairy tale Champions League win. I don't believe the Champions League has any more fairy tales left in it. The Champions League is always going to be won by the established teams, in my opinion. The teams with the pedigree, the teams who have won it before, the teams who are consistently making semi-finals, quarterfinals in this tournament. And so now, PSG, they failed, and I think I'm of the opinion this was their last chance, PSG. Next season, Messi is probably going to be more human, or he's going to be, 36? He's just won the World Cup. He's won the Champions League many times. He doesn't need to stay at PSG to win the Champions League. He probably doesn't have that drive. Mbappe is probably going to be going away soon, maybe to Real Madrid. Maybe Real Madrid is going to open the purse strings and break some financial fair play rules to get him.
Nah.
You don't think so?
No. he should have moved.
He should have moved last year.
Because now they're out. They kept him. They gave him the ridiculous offer.
Yes.
So they could win the Champions League.
Yeah.
And now they are out. So it wasn't worth the money.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. So they're not gonna come back for him.
Yeah.
Unless they agree on a fee that's substantially lower.
Yeah.
And maybe his wages are halved.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Madrid is gonna pay him €1 million a week.
Nah.
So he screwed himself. And if maybe PSG has a way of replacing some of these players like Messi and Neymar, so that he has a new younger players around him that run just like him, maybe it will help in the long run. But if they're going into next season with same players, they're not going to win the Champions League.
They're not going to win.
Yeah, because the Champions League is going to get tougher next season with the new format, the league format. And
Yeah, okay.
Mbappe.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think, I'm thinking that PSG's window is closed. So Mbappe probably won't go to Real Madrid, but I also don't think Neymar's going to stay. So I don't think Neymar's going to stay, and I think Messi will be a little bit less of who he is. I mean, he is in his mid-30s now. We saw Ronaldo fall off a cliff in the last year and a half. So Messi's turn is about to come. He's just won the World Cup, so his life's goal, his life's mission is accomplished now. So, so PSG won't win. And Man City, they've got RB Leipzig in front of them. They seem like a strong product. In the Premier League, they look to be losing their footing. What do you think there? Can they get past RB Leipzig?
Well, the first leg, they scored first.
Yeah.
And they couldn't hold on to the lead.
Yeah.
And Leipzig pulled one goal late to make it 1-1. But I think in the second leg, they're playing at home.
Yeah.
They're not going to make the same mistake. I think they'll go through.
Yeah.
Whether they're going to win it.
Yeah.
Look, they should have learned something from the defeat to Real Madrid because, they were in the driving seat last season and, they blew it. So I'm hoping that this season, they learn from their mistakes and they can go all the way. I think that they can go all the way. Whether they're going to win the competition, but I think they'll get to the final.
Let's hope for their sake then that they don't meet Real Madrid along the way. Because my bet to win it all is going to be Real Madrid to defend, since they've been doing that and since they're the only team that knows how to do this thing. And as you said, Mbappe might not even go there because they don't need him. They can concede 2 goals away against a rampant Liverpool side at the time, and then they just turn around and score 5 goals without an answer.
Yeah.
And they might be sleeping in La Liga right now and letting Barcelona reclaim the glory days. But Real Madrid knows how to win Champions League games, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not forget about that.
Yeah.
It's the team that achieved La Decima a couple years ago. It's the coach that achieved La Decima who came back and won another trophy. Now they're sitting on 14 Champions League trophies, and they are really looking for number 15. Real Madrid's going to the final, guys. This is not a prediction. It is a spoiler. Real Madrid's going to the final. That's what I know is going to happen.
So where's Bayern Munich in the equation?
I think so. You think it's going to be Man City going to the final? Who do you think they're going to be facing?
You know, Bayern Munich,
Yeah,
I think they've got unfinished business in the Champions League.
yeah.
You know,
Okay.
they've come close many, many times. And I think they will be in the final too.
Okay. So you think
So-
Man City, Bayern Munich?
I think Man City, Bayern Munich.
Who's beating Madrid between those two?
I think Bayern Munich can beat Madrid.
Okay.
But I don't think Man City can beat Madrid.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want Madrid in the final.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I also
I-
don't think Man City will beat Madrid. I think
But
If-
Bayern Munich can beat Madrid.
yeah.
2 legs.
Yeah.
If they
over
meet
2 legs.
in the quarters or the semis,
Yeah.
I think Bayern Munich can.
I think it's because we know what Bayern Munich is going to appear. We know what Bayern Munich team is going to come. Come rain or shine, German League, Champions League, we know what Bayern Munich is. But Real Madrid,
They know the recipe.
they know the recipe, and also they're doing this. In La Liga, they seem to be sleepwalking. They seem to be sleepwalking through La Liga this season. They're like, yeah, we've won it last season, let's just chill. And then when Champions League comes around, they just wake up and they're on another level. So we don't know what Real Madrid will pitch up. I mean, at Anfield, they were 2-0 down. I don't know what you say to a team that's 2-0 down away in a Champions League game and they just turn around and score 5 goals. I don't understand. And then you'll never think that the team they've just thrashed was winning 2-0. And then they go back home in Spain, the league they are defending, and they just can't be bothered. They can't be bothered. You
Yeah.
see? But something about the Champions League, I mean, they have won it 14 times.
Yeah.
Bayern Munich's won it 7 times. Yeah, equal with Liverpool. Liverpool's on 6. Is Bayern Munich on 6 or 7? I think Bayern Munich's on 6.
Yeah.
I
think
can't
7.
remember. Yeah. So, I mean, these are perennial winners. So, I think it's going to be Real Madrid, Bayern Munich in the final. But we already
Yeah.
counting 2 steps ahead. This is still the last 16. Bayern Munich already through. Real Madrid look like they're going to go through. Man City, we're still not sure. They're going to play Leipzig this week.
Yeah.
And let's see what happens.
I think they got their players back. They got the Laporte, Diaz.
Yeah.
They got their centre backs have
Okay.
returned, which was the main issue for Man City. They were
Okay.
chopping and changing at the back with injuries. So it looks like he's got his defenders back and he can rotate, to give guys a rest
Yeah.
as opposed to injuries.
Okay.
So I think he got
Man
a chance.
City's got a chance. Okay,
They got
let's
Haaland
see.
there. He
Yeah,
played in Germany.
Yeah, I mean, Haaland, I think he scored all his season's goals in the first half of the season because now
The second half is
the goals have
slow.
dried up.
Yeah.
Dried up. Now he's scoring 1 goal every 2 or 3 games, and then he'll score a brace here after the 3rd game or something. But before the World Cup, I mean, he was scoring hat tricks like they were going out of style, as if every goal is getting a bonus or something.
Yeah, but Kevin De Bruyne hasn't been on form
Yeah.
like how he was in the first half of the season since he returned from the World Cup.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
not the same.
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think Kevin De Bruyne this season has performed at a lower level than we've all come to expect,
Yeah.
and that's probably shown in the second half of the season with Haaland's goals drying up.
Yeah.
But let's see.
But I think he's just, I think he's 30 now or 31. So
Yeah.
we're not sure how long Pep is gonna keep him for, because Pep, when you're 31s like your Mahrez,
Yes.
so we're not sure if he's gonna be, how long he's gonna be staying. Maybe
Staying.
next season is last season, and then
Okay.
he's gonna be. We'll see, what Man City do in the summer.
Yeah.
But there's gonna be players that are gonna be leaving.
Yeah. But
So he has to win the Champions League
this season.
this season.
So
yeah.
see, there's another team. The window seems to be closing.
Yeah,
because if
it is.
Real Madrid is doing what they're doing, and Man City right now in the league are not looking as imperious as they did before. Kevin De Bruyne is not having an all-star season like usual. This probably is their last shot.
Yep, it is.
So that's going to be intriguing, ladies and gentlemen. Champions League, there's a lot to fight for. Bayern Munich is through, as I said. Chelsea is through to the next round. We still got Real Madrid and Liverpool to play. We still got Man City and Leipzig to play. Let's see what's going to happen. And the Premier League is also dishing up a whole lot of surprises. As we said earlier at the top of the show, Liverpool just lost to Bournemouth 1-0. That dents their top four hopes. Tottenham Hotspur right now, it's 89 minutes in their game. They are winning 3-1. Harry Kane, 2 goals. Son scored 1 goal. And Nottingham Forest just scored a goal about 5 minutes ago. 1 minute left in the game before injury time. And ladies and gentlemen, that's been Football Out Extreme, the podcast version.
Yes.
In our studio. Man, this has been good.
Thank you.
This has been good. Ladies and gentlemen, football fans, we're going to be coming back to you with more episodes, more podcasts, studio vibes, Football Extreme. The Extreme team is leveling up.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna try and do our podcast in person.
Yeah, definitely. I like this vibe. No more separate studios or separate rooms and separate feeds and all of that.
Yeah, connectivity issues.
Yeah. This is good. I'm enjoying this. And Spurs is about to not score a 4th goal. I like this. Ladies and gentlemen, tune in to our next episode of Football Extreme. Like our channel, subscribe to our channel, and get notifications every time we drop a video. See you on the next one. We love you guys. Peace out.
Cheers.